Jungkook's revelation was nothing short of seismic, shaking the very foundations of BTS and their loyal ARMY community. What started as a casual live broadcast, a typical interaction between Jungkook and his fans, quickly spiraled into a moment that would leave the world trembling in both excitement and fear. His usual boyish grin faded, and what followed was a raw, emotional confession that left millions holding their breath. The atmosphere in the broadcast shifted. His voice, usually filled with energy, dropped into something more somber. "You must have heard, right?" he asked, a simple question that, in hindsight, seemed almost ominous. The comments flooded in, fans desperate for answers. But then came the silence, a pregnant pause that seemed to stretch on forever. "I can't pretend anymore," Jungkook whispered, the words barely audible, but potent enough to send shockwaves across the globe. It was then that Jungkook dropped the bombshell. "I've been hiding something all this time," he confessed, his voice quivering with vulnerability. And then, as if the weight of his own words was too much to bear, he revealed, "Taehyung knows." But he chose silence. The fandom exploded. Armies around the world reeled at the revelation. Taehyung, the person many saw as Jungkook's closest companion, the one who understood him best, knew something. Yet he chose to remain silent. Why? What did he know? What was so monumental that it caused him to withdraw into complete silence? Jungkook's confession grew more painful. He admitted that 2 years ago, he had almost left BTS, not just the group, but everything. The temptation of independence had been strong, international labels, extravagant contracts, and the allure of freedom. He came close to signing it all away. But there was one person who stopped him, Taehyung. "He stopped me," Jungkook said, his voice thick with emotion. The implication was clear, but Jungkook never fully explained whether Taehyung's intervention was a saving grace or a controlling act. He only begged fans not to hate Taehyung, claiming, "He's not wrong. He's just too much, even for me." As the broadcast ended, questions loomed large, unanswered and hanging in the air. Armies were left reeling. The bond between Jungkook and Taehyung, once a symbol of strength and unity, now seemed fragile, almost broken. Fans began to notice the growing distance between the two. The laughter, the shared moments, the little touches that once felt like magic, those things were now absent, and then the rumors began to swirl. Leaked photos appeared, grainy, blurry, but revealing enough to fuel speculation. Was it true? Had Jungkook actually tried to leave BTS? A document allegedly showing his name on a termination letter circulated, sending the fandom into chaos. According to anonymous insiders, Taehyung had intervened in the most dramatic of ways. One source claimed that he had told American executives, "You can't have him. He belongs to something bigger than you." That phrase, "something bigger," was repeated, reverberating through the fandom like a prophecy. But what did it mean? Was it a statement of protection, or was it an attempt to hold on to something for himself? Fans were divided. Some viewed Taehyung's actions as noble, others as possessive. If you love someone, you let them choose. Not chain them, some armies argued. Meanwhile, the silence from Taehyung was deafening. No comments, no posts, not even a cryptic Instagram story. The absence was palpable. And as the rumors grew louder, so did the speculation. Could Taehyung be bound by a contract, by an unspoken agreement not to speak out? Could the silence be forced upon him, not just a choice? Then came a twist that added another layer of complexity to the drama. A leaked email from a BTS management executive read, "If one member acts selfishly, BTS's entire legacy is threatened." Was this a subtle accusation aimed at Jungkook? Or was it a warning to the group as a whole? Fans began to question, who was being selfish? Who was saving the group? And who was simply trying to escape? The fallout wasn't just emotional, it was financial. HYBE's shares dropped, sponsors became uneasy. The potential for BTS's breakup wasn't just a scandal, it was a financial crisis. But still, there was no official comment. Not from Bang PD, not from Taehyung, not from HYBE. Taehyung eventually broke his silence, but not with words. Instead, he posted a single photo, a sunset, captioned simply, "Some things don't have to be explained." For some, it was poetic. For others, infuriatingly cryptic. What was he trying to protect? What was so fragile that it could not be revealed? Conspiracy theories began to proliferate. Could the BTS contracts include clauses that prohibited members from speaking out without permission? If Jungkook's confession was unauthorized, was Taehyung legally bound to remain silent? Was he a prisoner of the system that had made them all global superstars? The questions kept piling up. Was Jungkook's attempt to leave an act of betrayal, or was it a desperate cry for freedom? Was Taehyung's intervention an act of loyalty or control? And most haunting of all, when Taehyung does finally speak, what kind of world will be left for him to reveal the truth to? This wasn't just another BTS moment. It was the crack in the perfect narrative, the first hint that things were not as they seemed. And now, with Jungkook's confession out in the open, the stage is set for a new chapter in BTS's story, one that will either bring healing or shatter everything they've built.